Hey guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. In today's video, we're actually going to be taking a look at the wish list and going through what I consider to be the best wish list for early game, free to play, however you want to look at, but just my ideal wish list until you get enough heroes that you can actually start forming a proper team and knowing exactly what you want to go for. So let's get into the video. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to go through each faction. I'm going to go through the absolute staple heroes, the ones that I feel like are just no-brainers. You throw in there, you know, they're the heroes that are just completely way too good or really just work at elite copy, just the one copy to really help you out. So we'll kick it off with the light bearers. Now, there's a few options, and I may take a bit longer explaining it just because this is for new players. So if you just want to see what it is, you can always skip to the end. But yeah. So for light bearers, there's three staple units. You got Rosaline, you got Rowan, and you've got Lucius. Those three are just absolute no-brainers. Rosaline, if you get enough copies, she's absolutely crazy because she deals huge damage and is crazy support. If you only have one copy and you just have her at elite, she's still really nice because she's gonna go ahead and buff your main damage dealer with an extra ultimate, and just she's just really nice. Even just throwing her cups that deal damage percentage, proportionate to the enemy's max HP, you get free damage out of it. Rowan, just amazing, probably the best healer in the game in my opinion. Just really smart with the potions. Once you get into the level where he refreshes the potions, it's really nice. Then his signature item, it's going to also put an energy potion, get you a hero using their ultimate faster. Absolutely incredible. Lucius, because he's probably just the best tank in general. I know real late game people say he drops off, however he's still just fantastic to have for Labyrinth and everything, especially if you get him real early game. You don't need a healer early game if you get him, just because his shield, once it gets to the stage where it heals with the skill ups, it's going to be enough. It's going to be enough, and he's just absolutely fantastic. And when you team him up with that Rowan, when Rowan is at Mythic, Rowan's going to give him a potion to increase his energy. He also has a passive energy increase when he's protecting himself with the shield, so he's just absolutely fantastic. Alright, now we're going to go to the staples for Mauler, and we'll come back and talk about fill-in options for each one after that. So Mauler, there's basically two staples in my opinion that I would put in every wish list, and that is Brutus and Sophia. Brutus, because he's not, in my opinion, the best tank, but it doesn't matter if you only have one copy of him. As long as your crystal, you keep leveling your crystal and you get his level up, he's going to go from 4 to 7 to 8 seconds of invincibility instead of dying, which is really handy as opposed to just having a second tank in there that just dies. Because when you are progressing through campaign and you've got one hero, normally a carry damage dealer for the progressed, and then you've got you know, all your other heroes down at a lower level, Brutus, doesn't matter if he's in the front row getting absolutely destroyed, he will just survive and give you time to go ahead and like work on a strategy in your team. So that's why he's in there. Just one copy is amazing. He does get better as you ascend him, because he'll have more survivability, so he'll survive longer before he gets to that invincibility period, and it just buys you more time basically. Then you got Sophia. Sophia's in there. I haven't actually built her yet, but just because she's basically the best endgame damage dealer for the maulers. So if you put her in from early, don't bother building her early. You're just putting her in there so that you can gather the copies along your journey, and hopefully once you get to the end game you have enough to build her, and then you can throw her in there and get some real good effect from her. So that's why she's in there. The rest of the maulers are sort of situational and up to you, and I don't see any of them as absolutely must-haves personally, except for Titus, because I really like the look of him, but we'll talk about more of them later in the optional places. Up next we have Wilders. So for these slots, there's three staples for me for this one. We've got Tassie, Leica, and Namora. They're just a fantastic trio for Wilders. Tassie with her CC, she's got the banish, she got the sleep. She does actually steal a lot of attack from them as well. She's good early game, even just at elite, like really early as a secondary tank, because she'll take a couple hits, teleport away, and keep going. So she is really nice for that. You've got Leica. Leica is basically just there for the haste buff. She does have a really nice signature item once you get her to Mythic as well, to basically just help your team out in general, increase your damage. She's got the defense break that she stacks as well. She's just really, really nice. She's not going to carry your team or anything, but just her passives are just so fantastic, especially the haste buff at the start of the battle can really, really change things around. And then we have Namora. Namora's great because she does have the heal. She's like, for me, early game, I kind of like using Arden a bit more than her, but then you get a bit later and the mind control becomes really important. Just being able to mind control one enemy, you can reset and try until she mind controls the right one, but it is really valuable, and the heal becomes bigger as you ascend her further. So basically, the better you make her, the better she gets. So she's another one that works at elite, but however, if you can get her ascended, it's really, really nice. Now onto the Graveborn staples, and for this one, there's a couple staples that I would put in, and there's a few optional ones. So this one's a bit awkward, but the two staples I would always put in are Pharrell and Nara. So Pharrell, because he's just fantastic later game. He's not so great early. He really needs skill ups on his skills to become really decent, but man, he is an absolute he destroys everything late game. I absolutely love him ascended, really fantastic. So that's why you put him in there. He's not going to help you so much at the start of the game, but you know, it's kind of like the Sophia. You start building up those copies and then he's going to be fantastic. Then we've got Nara. Nara is in there because basically she's really good at elite because you can still use her to lock out one enemy, kind of like Athalia in the Celestials. But the good thing about her is, once you get to late game, once again, if you start stacking up those Nara copies just passively through normal scrolls and diamond pools, even if you're not going for Graveborns, she becomes an absolute beast. She has that, like, the later game requires a bit more burst sometimes, so she just has a massive execute that's going to deal some huge damage. She can deal with Brutus and things like that really easily, just ignoring the invincibility and destroying him. So that's why she's in there. Now, we'll talk about the rest of those after. Let's head back up to Lightbearers and talk about the optional options. Now, for me, my next, like the next two that I have as like, so it depends on your main damage dealer. So these last few slots will always depend on your main damage dealer, who you want to build as your main damage dealer. Like if you're going to build a Gwyneth, I'd put a Gwyneth and I'd put a Hendrik because he synergizes with her. That's how I do that. If you're going to choose a Belinda, which is here, you've pretty much got two options in my opinion, and that is going to be either Forks, because Forks is fantastic just for the CC, the banish. His signature item's actually not too bad, and he also removes the buffs from enemies, so you can get rid of Lucius' shield, all that sort of stuff if you play him on manual. And then you're also going to have, for me, as the other option, is Cecilia. Now, Cecilia was almost one of my staple ones, but her use is really for the Twisted Realm and the guild bosses, where she does work really, really well. So having one copy of her alone would be nice. So even if you want to just get one copy of her and then one copy of Forks and then decide which one you like better and leave them in. But that's if you're using either Belinda or if you want to build a Thane as your main damage dealer. That's what I do. I do your main damage dealer and then throw one of those two in. If you're not using a Lightbearers as your main damage dealer, this is how I would normally set up my wish list. It's solid. These two are both really, really good moving forward. However, you may also want to just drop the Forks and leave a Belinda in there, even if you're building like a Shamira as your main damage dealer. Just because Belinda, we all get an Elite Plus free copy, then you get a free copy through campaign as well. So if you just pull one, you've already got her at Legendary Plus, and then you need 4 more to get her Ascended, so that's the other option. Moving on from that, Maulers. So me personally, I always put Titus in there. I just reckon he's really, really nice. I just feel like he's going to be really decent. I'm waiting to do some more testing with him. I'm actually going to just test him on someone else's account in the next couple of days, but that is Titus. He's got really nice damage, really nice CC. He focuses the weakest enemy. It just seems really, really nice. He's a leather wearer, so he's got a lot of dodge. It just feels good to me. So I really want to build him on an account. Next up, it's pretty much up to you. Early game, Antandra's not too bad, but I hear she's really horrible late game. She just doesn't scale too well. You've got you actually got Verk, who a lot of people say is really good late game. I've never really tested him, so I can't comment too much on him. Skriath the chicken, he's he's sort of niche if you have a team that groups enemies together and that's the focus of it. You can try and throw him into, you know, he's got rocks that fall down in an AoE, he's got the sandstorm, he's got his ultimate which groups enemies together. It's not too bad, he's alright to put in there. And then, you know, your other options are pretty much, K-Source isn't bad because you can get him from the Labyrinth store. I still really like K-Source. He can do some really nice damage, and his passive that gives everyone extra life leech can be really nice if you're doing a high damage output team. He's at throwing axes, do some really nice damage and some really nice healing as well. And then Screeg. Screeg's just an all-round great tank in my opinion. He just deals some decent damage, immune to a lot of CC, all CC when he's mounted. And yeah, he can just really disrupt things with his little Screegs that run across the screen. So that is Maulers. Once again, Maulers, you got the two main staples. Titus is another one that I really like, and then you can pretty much go from there. After that, we'll go on to the wilder additional heroes. Those three, like I said, they're absolutely fantastic. There's three other main options that I'd go for here. Between Solus, Lawson, and Eiron. Eiron, because he's one of the best damage dealers in the late game, really fantastic. He has a chance to ignore defense, he freezes, he disrupts enemies with pulling them in. He deals more damage to shielded enemies, so it's really good against Lucius, who's really dominant in it. So he's one that I'd probably always put in. Then Solus, just because she's got a nice bit of she's got like nice damage, nice CC, a little bit of everything. I just really do like her. However, Lawson's another one that's really good to have one copy of, just for his debuff that increases the damage you deal to an enemy with ultimates. Also, he's got the link ability, which makes, if one enemy takes damage, the linked enemy will take the damage as well. So that's really nice to have one copy of. But yeah, it's between those three for me for the final two slots: the Solus, the Lawson, and the Eiron. Now, finishing it off with the Graveborn. The Graveborn, pretty much, like I said, those two are fantastic. A lot of people are going to go Chimera as their main damage dealer. Fine, throw Chimera in. That's no dramas. The last two slots, I am absolutely in love with this guy, Odin. He is fantastic for, once again, team manipulation. You know, anything like the Skriath or the Eiron up here, where they do team, like enemy positioning manipulation. He's going to suck one enemy up, drop him on the others. It's really nice. He does some nice damage as well. I feel like he's going to be more of an end game hero, but really, really nice early game if he synergizes with your team as well. And then the other one is going to be Baden. I really do like Baden just because he's good for cheesing some mechanics, really good for both the guild hunts, really good for a lot of the Twisted Realms as well, for getting some really big damage numbers out. So that is what I'd mainly go for. If you're not building Chimera as your main damage dealer, I'd pretty much look at, you can pretty much go for any of the others. Kelth is probably not recommended. A lot of people don't like him. I do want to build him on an account just to test out. But for me, I'm kind of liking Isolde for his synergy with Odin, but he's probably not the optimal one. Grizzle and Thorin are both amazing tanks in the later game. Both of them you really need to have, like, I'm talking when you get all your heroes to like 220, 240 is when they really start to get good. But yeah, they both really need their signature item and stuff like that to be functional. And then Isabella is meant to be really fantastic late game as a damage dealer. So it's pretty much up to you and what your team needs for that final position. Whether you need a tank, which one synergizes better with your team, or whether you want to start looking forward to another damage dealer. So that I apologize that took so long. Let's just put someone in here for the people that skip to the end and just want to see it. There we go. Sorry it took so long, but I just wanted to explain it as well as I could for the newer players. To those who are older players, been playing a fair bit, let me know what you think, if you agree with my wish list. But like I said, those staple heroes are the ones that every time I jump into an account, I just put them on straight away because I know they're what I want. And then the final couple of positions, I just play around with what I'm looking for on the account. So that is going to be it for this one, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you have an awesome day, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers.